How you doing? My name is Shambra and I'm coming to you with according to her. Basically, I started this with a friend of mine a long time ago, and she actually passed away. So I wanted to revamp what she wanted to start, and I wanted to bring awareness to mental health. Um, I was a co-host in Sibling Ties with my brother, where we also talked about depression, anxiety, and all that other good stuff. So you can go check those out as well because they are still up on YouTube. But this is the solo according to her. So basically, I'll be talking about depression, living with depression, um, suffering from depression, and also striving through depression because that's what I do every day. Um, so basically, depression is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel and the way you think and how you act. So I've been dealing with depression since I was 9 years old. Um, I didn't know what it was because a lot of people don't know what depression is, or we don't, or depression is basically like frowned upon. So we don't like to get into, things of that nature. Like people don't want to admit or even think that they have a mental illness. Um, but basically, like I use my mental illness as like a superpower. So basically, yes, I suffer from depression. Yes, times get very, very hard for me. Um, it gets black sometimes. I could say that, like, where to the point where I just don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to, be here anymore. It's a lot. But then I look at my children and I'm like, I gotta keep going for them. Like I have to keep pushing for them because if I don't push for them, nobody else is going to do it. So basically, I want to say like depression is my downfall, but my children are my strength because they are the ones that I fight for. They are the ones that, carry me through all of this. I actually had a moment where, I wrote out my suicide note. Like I wrote it out, and I was at that moment where I didn't care. Like I didn't care if I left them. I didn't care if, I at that moment I just didn't care. So I think my oldest son had kind of like walked in, and like I hide my depression from my children because it's like I don't want you to know how down or how bad I really am. So um he walked in and seen me at my lowest, like never seen his mother at her lowest at all. So for him to see that was like, my mom is, really going through it. So, he hugged me. We sat there. I cried, you know, he cried because I was crying. And he just like basically talked me out of it. Like, it was what I needed because a lot of people that suffer from depression are always there for other people. So for us to be there for other people, nobody really understands like we need people there for us as well. That's why it's good to always check up on your loved ones. Even if it's just a text message saying, "Hey," you know, say, "Hey," text me and be like, "How was your day? How was your week?" Because a lot can happen in a week for a person that suffers from depression versus somebody that doesn't suffer from depression. Because someone that doesn't suffer from depression, things can happen and they can roll it off their back as if, okay, I can't control that. So let me just let it be and whatever happens, happens. But a person that suffers from depression, we can't let things roll off our back. It's constantly in our brains. It's constantly like we're constantly thinking about it. We're constantly like dwelling on it. It's hard for us to go through something and be like, okay, I can't control this, so let me move on. No, our anxiety kicks in. Um, we are thinking a mile a minute. Like everything seems like it's falling on us. And there's no let up. Like there's nothing that can make us feel better unless, we can get all these problems figured out in one day. That's basically how depression works. That's how your brain works at that moment. Um I had to learn to, forgive, because a lot of my depression stems from family members. It stems from feeling like I'm not wanted, or feeling like, I'm not good enough, or feeling like I'm just not even, a human being, like I'm not there, like I'm looked past or whatever. So I had to learn to forgive. And within that, me learning to forgive, it made me a little bit more confident in myself. Because I know what I'm capable of, I know what I'm worth, and I know what I mean to certain people. Like, even if I don't mean anything to anybody else, I know that I mean the world to my children. I mean everything to my parents. Like, rest in peace, dad. But I have aunts and uncles that care about me, and I mean something to them. Like, I have cousins that mean something to me, that I mean something to. So it's just basically like, it took me a long time to understand that you're not going to be liked by everybody. Everybody's not going to like you. And I'm okay with that now. Like, um somebody like me, social media is a big it plays a big part in my depression, because I could look at somebody's life and be like, well, why my life not like that? Like, or why I'm not, and it's not jealousy. I'm not jealous of anyone. I want everybody to win. It's just, I want to know, like, why am I always going through something? But like some people tell me, like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So he might just consider you one of the strongest, and know that regardless of everything else that you have on your plate, you can get through what he throws at you. And I've it's been proven several times, but it's also like sometimes I just need a break. Like, I normally ask my children for like 5 minutes. Like, if I come in from work, I'll be like, yo, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes where you're not screaming mom. 5 minutes where you're not screaming, period. 5 minutes where you're not just coming at me. Like, because I need to, you know, degress. I need to like wind down. Give me that moment, because while I'm at work, I'm busy. Then when I come home, my mom 24/7. So that 5 little minutes that I ask for, they give it to me. And after that, I'm all theirs. Like, I'm all theirs to yell and scream, run around with the baby. I'm just basically like super mom. But it is just difficult when it comes to um depression. And I say that to say, I had a neighbor that I didn't know was suffering from depression. I talked to this neighbor quite often. I talked to him and his wife. And basically, he was supposed to build a fence for my dogs, and the fence was sitting near our back fence. And then one day the fence was just not there. So when I seen his wife, I said, "Hey, Miss Chrissy, was the fence that was there the fence that was supposed to be built for the dogs?" And she came up, she said, "Yeah, it was." She said, "But something happened to another neighbor's fence, so her husband decided to, use that for that right at that moment, and he was going to, get something else for the dogs." And then I said, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Well, how has he been?" And she busted out crying. And I'm looking, because I really don't know how to respond to people that's crying when I don't know why you're crying, because I don't want to say the wrong things. So I asked, I said, "Hey, is everything okay?" And she told me that her husband killed himself. She said that he stopped taking his medication, and his depression got really bad, and he shot himself. Um, so when she said that, like, my heart dropped, because it was like, I just seen this man, just had a conversation with this man, and when I talked to him, you would not know that he was suffering from depression. You would not know that he was, you know, just in his head the way he was because of how he acted. So you just need to be mindful of the people that you're around on a daily basis because you never know who you may be talking to. Um, and if I would have known that he suffered from depression the way he did, not like I could have did much, but I could have been like more of a listening ear because at the end of the day, I suffer from it as well. So I've always asked myself, like, what makes me as strong as I am to not end it all? Because there are moments where I'm like ready to just end it all. But like I said, my children are my biggest, but you do have people out here that will just, say they don't care about nothing else but their peace. Not saying that you'll be at peace if you commit suicide, but they feel like they can shut everything off if they're just not here. Um, but depression is real. Um, everybody just needs to be mindful of what you say to people, how you say things to people, because a lot of people are not going to portray things the way you bring it out to them. Um, I'm more of a it's not what you say, it's how you say it kind of person. You could be saying something that's so not offensive, but if you say it with like aggression, then it'll be offensive. So just remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say things. And also be mindful of the people in the world today. Because, like I said, you don't know what someone is going through, you don't know what state of mind they're in, you don't know what they've been through, and you also don't know where God is taking them right now or where their mind is taking them right now because some people are ready to risk it all. For what reason, I don't know, but you have some people out here that's just not in the right state of minds. Um, check on your loved ones. Whether you think they suffer from depression or not, just say, hey, it takes 5 minutes for you to send a text message and say, hey, I was thinking about you. I love you. Let me know if you need, talk or whatever. It literally takes 5 minutes. Because at the end of the day, I say all the time, while I'm here, check on me. Because when I pass away, I don't want anyone to be like, if heaven had a phone, I would call. No, because I have a phone now that you don't call. So don't wait for me to leave to want to call me in heaven. Call me now, say, hey, but depression is real. This is my first according to you post YouTube video, and I hope to have more with another, you know, interesting fact for y'all for depression. And also, if you feel like you suffer from depression, you want to talk, you can also, be a guest on my YouTube page. I'm not that kind of person. I would love to have visitors on here. Any questions, just ask me below. Subscribe, and I'll be back, okay? Have a good one.